Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is gonna be a little different. This is gonna be my top 10 favorite games, not of the generation, but I thought I would do it because PlayStation 5 just came out, and I'm waiting to get that. And yeah, it's just gonna be like my favorite games overall, you know? So, number 10 is Batman Arkham City. This game, it has a great story. It has some really cool villains like Riddler, Mad Hatter, I guess Catwoman, but she's not really a villain. I forgot the main guy, but he's pretty psychopathic. And yeah, I think it's just like really nostalgic to play, you know, because it was kind of like a childhood game, and it's just fun, you know. It has great combat, it has a really good story, and the gameplay is just really nice. And it's one of the games that doesn't like really focus on like a multiplayer online experience more than a story, you know? And my number 9 game is Titanfall 2. This game is probably one of the best games of this generation. I mean, Titanfall 2, there's honestly nothing like it, but it's so good that the first one, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, or Advanced, or Infinite Warfare, tried to copy it and kind of ruined Call of Duty forever. But, I mean, yeah, Titanfall 2 has a great story. You play as Jack Cooper and BT. BT's the Titan. BT-7274. And the multiplayer is amazing. Like, I don't think I've ever played a game with as good multiplayer, aside from, like, Black Ops 2. And, like, the story is just so, like, it's so interesting, you know, because, like, it's futuristic, but it's in, like, medieval warfare, you know? And it's a really fun game to play. If you don't have it, I recommend you get it, because Titanfall 2 is fun. There's still a really good community on Titanfall 2. And like, if you could get on there right now and find a game. It might take a minute, but you'll find a game, and sometimes, yeah, servers are a bit laggy a little bit, but I mean, most of the time, it's just so much fun to play. Like, using different types of weapons, like, all the weapons are unique in their own sense, you know? Like, even if they are in the same class, like, they're all just really cool, and all the Titans are unique, too. So, that's why that game is in my number 9 spot. And for my number 8 spot is God of War 3. God of War 3 is just, it's a great game. Like, I like the story. It's cool. I really like Greek mythology. It's really fun to play, and it's just super gory, which is pretty cool. And God of War is like it's pretty cool. The story is pretty messed up, but it's a pretty good story. And the new one is really fun too, but it's not on this list. But God of War 3, and that, I guess it also does count the remastered version too. I mean, really nothing changed. But yeah, God of War 3 is just, it's such a great game in its own sense, you know, because God of War, it has a cool story and a cool protagonist. Kratos is like, he's awesome. And even in the new game, he's really cool. Even though he's a father, like, that still doesn't make him a horrible protagonist, or, yeah, protagonist. He's, he's super cool to play as. He has a cool voice. um, he has some really cool, you get to have some really cool weapons in God of War 3 to kill your enemies with. There's like the fist, after you get from killing Hercules. There's the Hades chains. Of course, the Blades of Chaos, which is definitely like the most classic weapon from, I feel like, almost any game ever. But yeah, it has a great story. It's really cool. Character is awesome, and you're just you go on a murdering rampage, and the locations are really cool. Like the Greek locations at the very first part, you like climb Mount Olympus with Titans. It's really cool. I personally like it a lot. I used to play it a lot when I was little, which I probably shouldn't have, but I used to play it a lot when I was little, and yeah, that is why that game is in my number 8 spot. So my number 7 spot, it's it's Last of Us Part 2. So that game it's a really good game. I mean, yeah, the story. I mean, so I liked Ellie's part. Like Ellie's part was perfect, you know. But Abby's part is the part I have a problem with, because they try to justify it as like she kills the character you play 10 hours as in the first game, then you play 10 hours as her in the new game, which I understand, but I feel like it, like, after you play as Abby, you don't really, like, it's kind of, because when I played as Abby, I just rushed through the whole entire part, and it sucks because they put a bunch of, like, the big moments into Abby's part, like, where you play as her. Like, the skyscraper was really cool. When you go to the island and, it gets set on fire, when you fight the Rat King. But I feel like that game, it's really good. I had the collector's edition of it, which is not one of my regrets. That it was worth it, because that game's fun either way. It's sad, but it's still pretty fun. The story's pretty cool. The gameplay is really good. And yeah, that's my number 7 game. My number 6 game is Dying Light. Dying Light is, like, it's so, like, I like the story. A lot of people don't. It does get repetitive at sometimes, but, like, the parkour system in first person is really fun. I feel like it just, like, it engages you in the game, you know? Like, it immerses you. Like, you feel like you are Kyle Crane. And it's just really a great game. You have the parkour, you have the really cool weapon modifications. You could play with your friends. I think up to 4. I think you could play with up to 4 friends on there. It has a really cool Night Hunter mode where you can play as a zombie. It's really fun. It has a great story. The locations are really cool. The soundtrack is amazing. I like the soundtrack. And it's just something different, you know? Because, yeah, first-person shooters are cool, but what about a first-person zombie parkour game? Like, Dying Light was a great game. Like, the story was good, the weapons were awesome, the enemies were cool. Like you could chop off their heads, cut off their limbs, you know. It's it's a really fun game, and if you don't have it, I definitely recommend you do get it because it's just so fun. And I don't know, like something about it just immerses you into the game. And I'm definitely gonna buy the second one if that comes out. And yeah, they still host community events every now and then. Like some of them will be like collect so and so like Easter eggs for Easter, or there's like a Christmas event where you have to collect, or where you have to kill little zombies, which are elves. It's it's really cool. It's fun to play. You can play it with friends, and I definitely recommend that you get it. And its DLCs are really fun too. Dying Light: The Following is really fun. I haven't played Hell Raid, but I, I I assume that's fun. But Dying Light has my number 7 or my number 6 spot on this list, and we're getting to the top 5. And my number 5th spot is definitely Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This game, it was so fun. Like, uh, there's just, it's not that it's Star Wars, because Star Wars is cool, but like it's not my favorite, you know. But like the game, it's just so cool. Like all the different creatures, the stormtroopers, like the different locations on that game. Like the fighting style is awesome. Like there's a part where you go to, I forgot the name of the planet, but it's like a rainforest planet, and you ride a dragon animal or creature. That game's just awesome. It has a really good story, and like it's a really detailed game. And you have a little robot droid named I forgot what its name was, but that game is just so fun. I even have the platinum trophy for that game because it is so fun. And I there hasn't been like that. I think that's my most favorite game of this console generation is Jedi Fallen Order, and I feel like it's the best Star Wars game since Force Unleashed, because great story, just introduced a new game plus, or not just, but still, that game is amazing. And my number 4 spot is Prototype. Now, Prototype, this is the game that's playing in the background, and this game's awesome. Like, see, look, I could go down here, and I could grab a car with my hand and throw it at a helicopter, and the helicopter will crash into the sky. You have all these cool weapons. It's the story, it isn't that great, but the gameplay, it's something. It's like it's something else, you know. Like, see, if I go over here, I could switch to someone that I consumed. Like, you could consume people, and you could become them. And this game came out in 2009, and I think the graphics still look pretty good. I can't wait to play it on PS5 with the ray tracing. And Alex Mercer, he's almost cooler than Kratos, but Alex Mercer, his powers, like, they're awesome. He could literally transform his body into anything. Like, you have a blade, you have a suit of armor, you could literally be anyone you find on the street. Like, see, now I'm some random dude that I consumed. But, okay story, really cool powers. I think my favorite power, that's like the most aesthetically pleasing, is probably the claws. And probably my favorite power to use is the blade, because this blade is just awesome. Look, if I go down here, I could just chop a bunch of people in half. Or if I use my claws, I could just kill a bunch of people. This game is really fun. It was made in 2009 as a bunch of cool, like you could take out a military base, or you could take out infected hives and there won't be as many infected. Or if you take out the military bases, strike teams will be disabled for a little bit. But yeah, its story is kind of cool. The bosses are really awesome. And this game is just really fun. It's in New York, which now, I mean, Spider-Man, like, if they didn't make another game, they can't have it in New York as Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man just took over New York. Now no game's ever going to be in New York again. It's Spider-Man. But I don't blame them, because Spider-Man, I don't know, Spider-Man's really fun. But yeah, Prototype, it's a fun game, cool powers, alright story, really cool gameplay. This game's still pretty smooth for being a PS3 game. And my next game is Dead Space. Now, the original Dead Space, like the very first one. And Dead Space it's a scary game. Like, the first two were scary. And it's like, I don't know, like, the cutter gun that you have, you could cut their limbs off, but, like, they won't die, you know? They'll still be crawling after you, because that game's super freaky. But even I went and played it earlier, and even to this day it still holds up as being like probably one of the most scary games I've played, because it's just so, like, the noises, like when you turn around a corner, like it has some really loud, it has some really loud music, and when you turn around a corner, it's like you know, in movies where they jump scare you, it's like that, but nothing's there. It plays with your mind, so you don't ever expect it. And when you turn around a corner, you don't expect anything, but something's there, and it freaks you out. And that game, it's really fun, and the story's pretty cool, but I mean, like, the monsters in there are super freaky, and Dead Space has to be one of my most favorite games that was on the Xbox 360. And my next spot goes to Ninja Gaiden 2. Ninja Gaiden 2, I don't know what to say. Like, I shouldn't have to say anything, because Ninja Gaiden 2, it's a great game. The story, it sucks, but like, it's all about the gameplay for the Ninja Gaiden games. Like, there's just something about it, like all the different weapons. You have a staff, you have claws like Wolverine, you have a katana, you have a scythe. There's just something about it that's just so, like, it's nostalgic, because I used to play it on the Xbox 360 all the time. That used to be my favorite game that I would play, is Ninja Gaiden. It's still super gory, cause it still is extremely, like, beautiful. Like the lighting isn't that good, but like you could barely see like any squares, like, not like squares, but like polys, you know, like how like if you look at someone's shoulder, it's kind of like cornered, like it has pokes, not pokes. I forgot the name. Uh, well, yeah, it has edges. Yeah, like if you look at someone's shoulder, it doesn't have edges. And for being a 2009 game, that's pretty impressive. It still holds up to today's standards. Like, the controls on that game are really nice. And overall, that game's just really fun. Besides from the story's alright, but it's mostly centered around the gameplay and locations. The locations in that game are awesome. Like for one mission, you could be in like a village, and then the next mission you could be in a jungle or an airship. It's just, that game is, it's one of my, it's like a childhood favorite, you know. Like, I played that when I was really little, and it's just so nostalgic. Like, the very first part that says Team Ninja, like how it has the waves, and it goes up and pans to the mountain, and it says Team Ninja. That will always be in my heart. That will never leave my heart as the best, like, intro to a company ever. And if they make a new Ninja Gaiden game, I will praise them as long as it isn't like Ninja Gaiden Z or Ninja Gaiden 3. But Ninja Gaiden 2, it's great. That game, I don't know what to say, it's just so fun. Like, all the murder, and I don't mean to sound like a psychopath, but like, there's just something about it where, like, if you cut someone's legs off, they're still crawling around on the battlefield, and they can tackle you, and I don't know, it's fun. And moving on to my #1 spot, my most favorite game, and will probably be my most favorite game until the day I die, is Last of Us. Now, I stream Last of Us on my channel. I beat the game, but I recently went back and beat the game twice before Last of Us Part 2 came out, because I was getting the Platinum Trophy for it before the second one came out, and I got to tell you, that game, the story's great, the gameplay is great, the locations are beautiful. Like, that game it's just so amazing. There's just something about it that makes it, like, so loved by everyone, you know? And it's just, like, for all games, it should be like, for every single game, it should be inspired by Last of Us. If it's the story, the gameplay, the gunplay, the locations, just something, like, every single game needs to have something that has Last of Us in it. 'Cause that game, it's like you get to see their relationship grow throughout, like, the whole entire game. Like, you pick up this little girl, and you expect just to drop her off at this museum, and then it turns out that one of your friends, or Tess, is infected, and she has to die, and the Fireflies aren't there to pick up Ellie. And at the very end of the game, you're just a guy going through the hospital killing a bunch of people because that's like his daughter, you know? That game is just, it's a masterpiece. There will never be anything like it. And I don't think I would ever there's gonna be a game that is so good as Last of Us, where I just like, that was a game, that was the first game that made me cry, because at this point I've beat it like 8 times, because it's just so fun. Like, the story's fun. Like, every time I play Last of Us, like, I find something new, you know? Like, the game just has so much for being a PS3 game. And like I find something new every single time I play that game. And no matter if it's like, oh, like the way they say something, or not like the way they say something, like if it's like how your character responds to Ellie doing something, or uh, like their dialogue between each other, like they're having conversations as you're like looting through a building, you know. But Last of Us, it's just, it's a great game, and that's the first game that has ever made me cry, and I'm honestly proud to say that. But yeah, that wasn't a very good quality top 10, but I still had fun making it. Yeah, that's my top 10 favorite games ever, and uh, that's the video.